Hello, beautiful people. My name is Jessie James, and welcome to my Scorpio Rising Survival Guide. This is for all of my Scorpio rising babies out there. I want to start this off by acknowledging I think that Scorpio rising is one of the hardest rising signs to have. And so if you are a Scorpio rising, I just want you to take a deep breath. Let's actually breathe together. Inhale, exhale. Hello. I hope that helped you ground you a little bit. With Scorpio rising, having Scorpio in the first house, I think this is a really challenging placement and birth chart to have. It is not for the faint of heart. It breeds a very, very resilient and strong person. So if you're a Scorpio rising watching this, if no one has told you recently, you are incredibly strong. You are incredibly smart and resilient. Go easy on yourself. Give yourself a break from time to time. Don't expect the world of yourself. You are going through a lot and you always have been. It's okay to chill. Hydrate, drink a lot of water, eat a lot of good food, rest a lot. You deserve it. Anyway, my name is Jessie James. I'm working on a series where I do a survival guide for all of the different rising signs. In my last video, I covered Libra rising, and today's video is going to be all about Scorpio rising. This will be a sign by sign, house by house breakdown of everything it means to be a Scorpio rising. And I'm doing this to help you with your rising sign, but also to address and combat the common misconception that if you don't have a planet in any of the signs of your birth chart, then you don't have that sign in your birth chart at all, which isn't true. The influence is going to be much stronger if there is a planet there, especially if it's a personal planet, sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mercury, Mars. But you have every sign in a house in your birth chart. Just because you don't have a planet there doesn't mean you can get away from it. And people are always trying to get away from the sign Scorpio, which obviously is your lifeblood, your bread and butter. You are Scorpio, so you're ahead of the curve on that one. But if there's any other signs in the zodiac that you're not really a fan of, and you think that because you don't have any planets there, they don't have any influence on you, I am here today to tell you that you are wrong, unfortunately, fortunately, whatever it may be. So being a Scorpio rising, your first house, the house of you, the house that is your appearance, the way that you appear in this world, and the lens through which you view the world, your I, is Scorpio. You're a survivor who's learned that you can handle intense situations by yourself because you've done it and you've emerged alive. This has made you someone who is incredibly resilient and strong. You have a deeply transformative energy, and your purpose in this world is to be an agent of change. You are persuasive, influential, and magnetic. Scorpio, water sign, is very you have your own gravitational pull, sort of. You can be someone who attracts a lot of people and things to you, and you can also be like the glue holding a situation together. If you're with a group of people and you get up and walk away for a while, you may find that the whole group falls apart in your absence. One of your greatest gifts is your intuition, which is incredibly strong and very finely tuned. But your actual greatest gift is your emotional fearlessness, your ability to plunge into the deepest, darkest depths and help to lead other people to revelations that come through emotional transformation. You are probably a reserved child who felt things very deeply but didn't express it. You've always had a deep fear of being misunderstood, so it was very important for you to get a lot of attention and understanding and belonging as a child, and whether you received that or not has been very pivotal in the way that you have developed into an adult. You are probably a very strong-willed and stubborn child and very likely to fight and win, even against your parents. You see life as a neutral journey. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just life. You see life as a series of challenges and a series of transformations, and you go through them every time. That is very top of mind for you. Scorpio in the first house, you are transformation. You're just like, here we go again. You've gone through so many painful changes and endured so many hard times that it really has become second nature to you. And you have a hard time understanding when other people are like, oh, I'm so scared of change. You're like, it's just change. This has led you to have this sense of yeah, I've been to hell and back and I survived. What have you got for me? Nothing I haven't seen before. That can really intimidate and scare people, because a lot of people, once again, are quite scared of change. But they don't find you scary and like an I'm going to run away way. They find you scary and like I am so intrigued by this person and their magnetic, powerful energy, and I want to learn more kind of way. Something that is very important for you in this lifetime is to have a very strong support network of friends, because you're only able to really let go and go through ultimate transformation when you know that you're in an emotionally safe spot and you have people who are going to love you regardless. You can't go through this real deep change if you're constantly looking over your own shoulder. You need someone to do that for you so you're not afraid of being betrayed. Something that can hold you back from transformations is negative thought patterns, and you need friends around you who can speak to you really kindly and help you break out of these so that you can move forward. The second house is all about value. That includes monetary value, like the salary you make from your job, but it also includes the value that you have for yourself and the value systems that you have that help you move through the world. Your second house is Sagittarius. And this placement is the archetype of the gambler. No one takes as big of risks with their money as a Scorpio rising. Sagittarius in the second house, ruled by Jupiter, the planet of abundance and expansion, means that when it comes to financial matters, you're like, go big or go home. This is true of all investments, financial and non-financial, including especially the value of time, which Scorpio risings are very familiar with and value even more than actual financial money, dollars, capitalism. You're not someone who's here to put all of your eggs in different baskets. You're someone who understands the value of your time. And so you're going to pick one thing or a couple of things that you are really invested in doing and invest all of your time in those things, because you're like, why would I spread it out between multiple things? That resource is so precious. I'm here to do my life's work. And as a Scorpio rising, you have a really strong understanding of the concept of death. You're not here to just play around. You're here to do something, and you can't do something by spreading your interests far and wide. Your morals, belief, and your spirituality, which are very Sagittarian things, are highly important to you. They form the basis of your value system. And you understand that it's not enough to just have a belief, but that you have to take action on it for it to mean anything. This can lead you to get frustrated with other people who claim to have really strong beliefs, but never put them into action. To you, beliefs are a tangible and motivating force that drives you to do your life's work, not just a black square you post on Instagram or an Instagram story that you can post to virtue signal, like, I care about this thing, but never actually do any work on. Your third house, which is the house of communication, travel, technology, the neighborhood you live in, siblings, aunts and uncles, is ruled by Capricorn, which is ruled by the planet Saturn. You're someone who controls the information you share about yourself with other people very closely. And for this specific reason, you have a hard time letting people from different friend groups meet and interact with each other. You're not someone who's going to throw a big party and invite everyone from all of your different friend groups, because you have chosen which information pieces about yourself to share with each of these different friend groups strategically. And if you let them mingle, or if you find out that they've been hanging out, they might share pieces of information about you with each other that you didn't decide to share with them, and that would throw your plans off. So you're very careful about keeping friend groups and people separated. This doesn't mean that you're a different person from friend group to friend group. Scorpio rising is not really a chameleon type of person. It just means that you're controlling the information that you share with each group. Not everyone gets access to the same information about you, because information to you is very powerful. Capricorn is a very conservative sign, and you are probably very conservative with your friendships. You don't feel a need to have that many friends or surround yourself with that many people, if people at all. You really strongly value your time, as we discussed with the second house Sagittarius. And so any time that you put into building and maintaining a friendship with someone is very important to you, and you won't give that time to just anyone. You choose your friends extremely carefully. With Capricorn in the third house of communication, it means that you choose your words very carefully and you don't say a lot. Like, you're not super chatty. You choose your words very carefully. You think before you speak. You say what needs to be said, and you don't say much more than that. You have a lot of wisdom from learning how to do things yourself at a very early age. And you tend to self-isolate and contemplate things deeply rather than just run around and be like, guess what I learned? You know you're a smart person, and you know that if other people underestimate you because you don't talk that much, that's their problem and has nothing to do with you. Your fourth house is your next angular house. The angular houses, first, fourth, seventh, and 10th, are the most personal houses. Transits to these signs are where big changes happen in your life. So when you have transits to your fourth house of Aquarius, that's when things change in your home life. The fourth house is your root. It's all about where you come from, your family, your ancestry, your soul. And Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn. On the opposite side of the zodiacal wheel from Aquarius is Leo, ruled by the sun, very expressive, very loud. So your fourth house, like private side, is constantly being overshadowed by your 10th house Leo, expressive side. You probably had a childhood where you felt pretty emotionally distant from one or both of your parents. You felt sort of like home wasn't a place that you really belonged. And so this leads you once again to exercise great caution and carefulness in choosing who you spend your time with. Having Saturn ruling the fourth house indicates a difficult childhood. This probably led you to develop beliefs, behaviors, and ways of thinking that are different from the way that the people who raised you thought and acted and behaved. You have an innate desire to disconnect from anything that feels familiar to you. You really want to travel. You really want to live in a place that's different from the place where you grew up, that feels very natural to you. And finally, you perceive yourself as a unique person, but understand that that does not take away from the uniqueness and individuality of other people. Moving from Saturn to Jupiter, we have your fifth house Pisces, which is much more abundant and free-flowing than the past two houses. And Pisces is a wonderful sign to have on the fifth house because the fifth house is all about creativity and hobbies and art and entrepreneurship and romance and children. And Pisces is just a boundless house with no limits. Your artistic expression knows no bounds. However, not having boundaries can be a bad thing when it comes to romantic relationships. And your natural tendency to put all of your eggs in one basket and just be a very intense person in general can cause problems when dating. Like, you are so selective about who you choose to spend your time with because your time is so valuable that when you decide someone is worth dating, you are ready to put all of your eggs into their basket and you're ready for them to be the one. And if they're the one, then why do you need boundaries? Unfortunately, this does have bad consequences when it comes to romance and dating because having no boundaries and entering these like fairly codependent relationships will attract people who have bad intentions and repel people who have healthy intentions. People who want a healthy relationship and have healthy relationship styles understand that boundaries are extremely important, especially early on getting to know someone. Having Jupiter ruling the fifth house also means that you have such a strong charm that you probably attract a lot of potential suitors. And your personality takes on this like larger than life quality when it comes to fifth house matters like creativity and hobbies and art and dating and relationships and children. And once again, the boundarylessness of Pisces plus the creative hobbies aspect of the fifth house means that when you are interested in something, when you find a hobby or a craft or an activity that you really like, you completely immerse yourself in it, completely. Anything that catches your attention, you are ready to dive right in. And sometimes that can distract you from other things in your life that are important. So that's something to watch out for. Your sixth house of Aries shares your chart ruler Mars, and the sixth house is all about the work that you do every day. All of the natural earth houses are related to work in some way. The second house is about money, the sixth house is about the work you do every day, and the 10th house is about your career. But the sixth house specifically encompasses, yes, all of the work that you do for your job every day, but also your self-care routines, your health and your wellness, chores around the house, things that are very mundane. Aries is very like me, let's go, hard charging. So the things that you do every day are the things that you want to do every day. You're like, I want to do something, and so I do it. And then across the axis in your 12th house is Libra, which is more of like a people pleaser sign. So you do what you want in the 6th house. And then in your 12th house of behind the scenes life, you mull over the social ramifications and how the things that you do make you perceived at a later date. But that's not important right now because right now you're doing what you want. Aries is a very independent sign, so you like to work independently. You like to be a leader. You much prefer to close yourself in a room and just do the work yourself than to try to be a team member with other people. And because the sixth house is also about health and wellness, Mars is a really tough planet to have ruling this house because Mars is all about like heat and inflammation. And so you as a Scorpio rising person need to watch out for issues with inflammation of your tendons, of your organs, etc. You can have a tendency to suffer from migraines and headaches. But Mars moves very quickly, so you have a tendency to get sick faster than other people. You have a tendency to be accident prone as well, but you also have a tendency to recover very quickly. And then we have this juxtaposition between Aries on the sixth house and Pisces on the fifth, where you move very quickly because of Aries from one thing to another. But when something really catches your attention, once again, you immerse yourself in it completely. You put a lot of effort into the things that you do so you can get frustrated when other people question your work. This is not saying that you need validation, because you definitely do not, but you really operate by sort of like a live and let live. You let me do things my way and I'll let you do things your way sort of vibe. And so when people are like questioning or judging you, you're like, you have broken the unspoken social contract that I live by. Mind your own business. Opposite Scorpio, we have your seventh house, your descendant of Taurus, and the seventh house is all about interpersonal and one-on-one relationships. This is traditionally thought to represent marriage, but it can also represent platonic and business partnerships. Taurus is a very possessive Venus-ruled earth sign, so you have a tendency to want to possess other people, specifically your friends and the people close to you, which means that you are loyal and you will defend your friends to the death, but also means that you have a really hard time letting them leave you and letting them go. The seventh house also represents how other people see you, and Taurus is a very grounded and stable sign. So while you're this like chaotic enigma under the surface, other people see you as someone who is very like calm and grounded and stable and rational. People trust you easily, and you bring a lot of stability into other people's lives, even if you don't realize it or it doesn't make logical sense to you. Quality time is very important to you, and even though you do prefer solitude most of the time, you love spending time with people that you really care about, who you really trust, and they trust you in return. And once again, this enables you to go through these like really deep transformative changes and experiences that come with being a Scorpio rising from a safe place where you know you have a support system who's looking out for you, and you can really do these hard, deep changes without worrying that you're going to be alone when you come out on the other side. Moving on to your eighth house of Gemini, ruled by Mercury. And one of the significations of the eighth house is that it's the house of other people's money, shared assets, shared finances, inheritance. Gemini is like everything everywhere all at once. And as a Scorpio rising, you sort of don't care too much about your own personal private possessions. You love to give people close to you things of yours that are special and sentimental and to buy other people gifts, but you never forget anything that you've given to or done for someone else. Remember, time is much more important than like material possessions and money for a Scorpio rising. Gemini is a very curious sign, and the eighth house is a natural house of Scorpio and is all about intangibles and forces that cannot be seen. The eighth house, very similar to Scorpio, is all about change and death and rebirth and transformation. This makes you very curious about things that other people can't see or understand, and often don't try to see or seek to understand. You have an obsessive desire to understand the secrets of the universe in depth and breadth. You want to understand all of the secrets of the universe, and you want to know about them really well. One of your strongest desires in this lifetime is to explore yourself and others. And one of the ways that you do that is through sexual intimacy. Sex for you is a place where you can try new things and put into practice everything that life has taught you. Because of Gemini's influence here, you also seek partners who have a really strong, like, intellectual connection with you and who can converse with you very easily. And you have Scorpio rising skills that always leave people wanting more. Moving on to your ninth house, which is Cancer, ruled by the moon. The moon is the natural ruler of the fourth house of your soul, and the ninth house is the house of like beliefs, foreign lands, other cultures, spirituality, religion, etc. And so these things, your spirituality, your beliefs, are so important to you. They impact you at a soul deep level. Similar to the practice what you preach we talked about earlier, the things that you preach aren't just virtue signaling. They are literally the place in which you make your home. Like they completely define who you are and what you do. Cancer is a cardinal sign, so you can have very strong opinions, but once again, similar to Aries in the 6th house, you won't judge other people if they don't judge you. You also have a really strong interest in foreign cultures and people from other places, and you probably feel a really strong connection, like almost like feeling at home in foreign places or with people from foreign places, much more so than you do where you actually grew up. Last 3 houses, your 10th house is ruled by Leo, which is ruled by the sun. And the 10th house is the top of your chart. Like this is the most visible part of yourself to other people. And Leo is very powerful. It's the only sign that's ruled by the sun. And the sun obviously is the brightest planet. It's a star. And it gives us all life. The light from the sun is the only reason that we as people here on Earth are alive. Therefore, you wear a mask when you interact with the world because the bottom of your chart is Aquarius ruled by Saturn. You are very reserved, especially about who you spend your time with. But when you're out in the world, you project the sun's qualities of self-expression, all of the drama and the pizzazz of Leo, when truly at your core, you are not a flamboyant person. You're Saturnian, very, very sparse. And this mask is not in spite of you having Aquarius in the 4th house, but because of it. Because you naturally feel so alienated from this world, when you're in public situations, you put on this mask so other people don't perceive that you don't belong. And this is not even because you wish you belonged, but because not everyone needs to know your secrets. Once again, you're very particular about what other people are able to learn and know about you, and you don't feel comfortable sharing this information with other people right off the bat, so you put on a mask to hide who you truly are. You're a person who does not like to appear weak, needy, or vulnerable in front of other people. You hate accepting that you need help because you have learned how to do things on your own and you like to do things on your own so that no one else perceives you as needy or someone who can't do things on their own. You set really high standards for yourself and you will be damned if you don't reach them. It's also really easy for you to slip by unnoticed in this world, but when you have on that Leo mask, this makes sure that that doesn't happen. You will be recognized when you want to be recognized, but when you don't want to be recognized, you can take off the mask and just slide right by without anyone paying attention to you. And even if you feel like you're collapsing inside, like people can smell your confidence from miles away. They will never see what's really going on below the surface. And that's so important for you as a Scorpio rising because Scorpio risings, once again, like the greatest of luxuries is your secrets. Like you really understand the power of information and you keep that power and you decide which pieces of information to share with which people so that you maintain the power in any situation. Your 11th house, Virgo, is the house of communities and friend groups and also dreams and wishes. Virgo is the other Mercury-ruled sign, but whereas Gemini is like more, I want to know everything, Virgo is very discerning. Virgo is the sign of late summer. It's where you separate the wheat from the chaff, which means that with this sign on your 11th house, you are very discerning about who you choose to be your friend. But then with Pisces on the other side in the 5th house, once you choose that someone can be your friend, you give them your all and fully immerse yourself in that friendship. Same thing with wishes and goals and dreams, which is also an 11th house matter. You're very, very selective and discerning about what wishes and goals and hopes and dreams you have. But once you choose something, you give yourself to it 100%. When you're meeting new people, you have a very quiet and reserved and cordial temperament. You're friendly and people like you, but you keep some distance between yourself and a new person until you really know them and have decided if you're going to let them into your life or not. Scorpio risings have a very small social circle, and more often than not, the people that you include in your social circle have had such a profound and meaningful impact on your life. Not just anyone gets to say they're friends with you. And because you appreciate solitude so much, when you want to hang out with someone, there's a reason for it. And because of this, your friends know that you are the most reliable, supportive, and trustworthy person that they could imagine being friends with. And you appreciate that the internet and social media allow you to stay connected with other people, but you are never going to be one to be like super vulnerable or showy or dramatic on main. And then finally, we come to the 12th house of behind the scenes life. This has to deal with like substance abuse issues and addictions. It has to do with hospitals and prisons and mental institutions, but it's also just your subconscious, what goes on behind the scenes that other people aren't privy to. And your 12th house is ruled by the Venus ruled sign Libra. And Libra is a people pleaser. So this is your secret people pleaser, your little people pleaser tendencies that no one else can see that live in the secret part of your mind called the subconscious. So once the lights are off, your activities are done, and you have time to yourself to just think, you're like, okay, what have been the social ramifications of the actions that I've taken without thinking about the social ramifications of anything? What other people think of you actually is very important to you. It's just not something that you bring to the surface or show to others. You put on a really good show of independence and self-sufficiency, and, consciously those things are very important to you and come naturally to you. But you also use this to hide your desire to connect with other people on a deep level. And I've been talking about how you're perceived as this like magnetic, powerful, charming person, but you actually have a hard time seeing yourself as those things because you actually feel like deep down you have a hard time connecting with other people. You can perceive yourself and your actions as dramatic and intense and even bad. Scorpio risings also have a tendency to feel like they haven't had enough romantic relationships or experiences in their lifetime and feel alienated for that. Like you're different and you know that and you like that and you love your resilience, but we all have this wound of like not feeling like we belong. I'm autistic. I know. I've never felt like I belonged anywhere. And you can go through your day-to-day life and not really think about this that much. But when you're alone in the dark in your room, whatever, thinking about it, you're like, I just really don't feel like I belong with people. I don't think that people like me that much. But for what it's worth, this isn't true. Like other people really do see you as someone who is very powerful and magnetic and cool and resilient. Like people really admire your resiliency. Even if you think, but I really do this like resilient thing because I don't really have many friends and I'm worried about being intimate with people and like letting them see that side of me. They don't see that at all. They're like, you're a cool cat. This is to say that you need to remember to not let societal expectations of what someone should be or what someone should do or when you should have your first relationship or how many relationships you should have impact your life because no one can tell you what you should be but you. You are living your own life for yourself. And whatever that means for you, that's what you've got to do. At the end of the day, what other people think about you doesn't really matter. What matters is being true to yourself and being your authentic self in everything that you do. And this has been my Scorpio rising survival guide. Again, guys, it's a tough world out there being a Scorpio rising. So drink your water, get your rest, meditate, journal, and then just get ready to go through another transformation experience. I know it's coming for you soon. If you would like any astrological support for these transformations or just want to book a birth chart reading or a synastry reading or any sort of return reading, I'm a professional astrologer and you can book a reading with me by going to popstrologypod.com/readings or at my booking page at calendly.com/popstrology. You can also follow me on TikTok at popstrologypod or on Instagram at popstrologypod or my personal Instagram at astrojessie_. I love you so much and I really hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you related to this or have a different experience. I would love to hear it. And if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you subscribed, gave the video a like, and commented if you feel inclined to do so. Anyway, I love you so much and I will talk to you soon. Bye.